Okay, we got the Matty over. Okay, cool.
Oh, here we go. What's going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hear that music, the head just start bobbing. Glad to be back. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, family, to the Real Deal Sports Show. I'm the Fanatic. Glad to be with you. Here with the one and only Rad Man. Look at he got the shirt. He ready to go. He looking like he the king of the world, just like he is. What up, Rad Man? Good morning.
Hey, it's gonna be 80 degrees today. I got my Cabrera on.
Woo.
I didn't think I could wear it in Western New York anytime soon. I thought it would only be on the road trips. Maybe Tempe, Arizona in February probably be the next opportunity. But hey, looking lo and behold, I still can wear it out today. Short sleeve. This Cabrera keeps me looking sharp. And we're going to make it happen for you. Real Deal Sports Show, talking sports of all sorts. Go to our website, realdealsportshow.com, realdealsportshow.com. Check out all the past shows, as well as the interviews from Challenger Community News, all the latest sports information by articles from Challenger Community News, and all kinds of other beautiful, excellent updates. Let us know what you think of the website, realdealsportshow.com. And also, you can go to our page, and on Facebook, Real Deal Sports Show on Facebook. Like us, let us know what your comments, good or bad. We want to hear it from you because we're talking sports of all sorts. And I'm telling you what, we're going to be all over the country with our guests this morning, and we're going to go right over to Buffalo, New York with the living legend,
the one and only.
The one and only. Before I introduce him, his spot is brought to you by Jack Green's Men's Shop. People keep asking me, how does me and the Mighty Oba always looking so sharp and so fly on the road? Hey, it's because of Jack Green's Men's Shop. Stop on down to Jack Green's Men's Shop, located in East Ridge Road and Hudson Street Plaza, your one-stop shopping store for not only men's clothing, you got women apparel as well. His lovely wife is doing a great job with the women apparel. She got the displays up now for wedding. Wedding season is coming up, starting first of the year. So if you're going to wedding shows, the one show you should go to is right up there at the East Ridge Road in Hudson Plaza here in Rochester, New York, to Jack Green's Men's Shop. See my man Frankie Diaz and his family. They'll get you right. If you want to look like a straight up boss, I guarantee you going up there to Jack Green. He's going to have you looking like a straight up boss. Or if you're going to church, you're going wherever you got to go. He's going to get you right and get you ready to go. And he's brought you by, he's bringing our first guest on, the Mighty Oba. Mighty Oba, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Hello, Fanatic. Thanks for having me on the Real Deal Sports Show. My pleasure.
Yes.
What's going on, Mighty Oba? I know I got it because Mighty Oba, the OG, you put me on plenty of times with the Wuffo Day. Just want to always shout you out. Your beard look good. You look good. Glad to have you on. I know the early morning is not your favorite things, so definitely appreciate you being on. Good to see you.
Oh, yeah, I'm not an early riser anymore.
I know. I love that piano in the background, man. I know you and your daughter have been playing that piano for years, and, man, I know y'all making excellent music in that beautiful surroundings right there, Mighty Oba, for sure.
Yeah, my daughter is heavy into the music scene these days.
Yes, indeed. Good luck with her career. Hopefully we'll have her on the show and have some of her music played on the Beat 105.5, The Beat here in Rochester, WLGZ HD2, The Beat 105.5 for sure. But let's get back to sports of all sorts. And you wrote an excellent article about, since everybody's been asking about that, since the renderings, the photo, which are pictures of a possible new stadium in Orchard Park, that the renderings have come out. And you wrote a very interesting article on this possible new stadium, and also the history as well. Can you let our audience know a little bit about the article that you wrote recently for the Buffalo Criterion newspaper?
Well, they're introducing the renderings, and they're talking about the environmental study, and there's also a lot of discussion about the CBA agreement, which is the community benefits agreement. But they are still falling way off from the real subject matter that, the Orchard Park is about 92 to 93% white or European, with less than 4% of other populations. So they are the first group of people that get residual economic benefits from having the stadium and the NFL franchise there. They're the ones that are parking the cars on their lawns like we used to when the stadium was in on Jefferson Avenue near the Fruit Belt. And our restaurants were packed. Now their restaurants are packed. So those are the immediate residual economic benefits that come from having an NFL franchise. The other thing that I pointed out, Radman and the Fanatic, was that when you're looking at a CBA agreement, you have to go after the things that are on the table. And I'm noticing a lot of groups are trying to position themselves to get funding from a CBA agreement, and that's not the way most CBA agreements work. You're usually after hiring percentages. You set goals for hiring percentages, like 30 to 35% would be women and people of color. Those are the things you go after. Vending, marketing, advertising, things that you're not receiving now. This station is not receiving any advertising dollars from the NFL franchise, nor is the Buffalo Challenger, Buffalo Criterion, WUFO, 105.5 The Beat, DCX, I think is the other station in Rochester. Those are the things that you need guarantees in a CBA agreement so that it benefits your community. Going after individual funding for groups is usually things that just aren't going to happen.
No, that's almost community. That's more community. Why is it so off? Why are people way missing the boat on this one, Mighty Oba?
Well, I think it's still the trauma from May 14th, Radman and Fanatic and DJ Backspin. I think May 14th sent this entire area into a trauma, and many people were lining up for benefits from that horrific event. And I just think the whole base of the community is still off center, and they lost their focus from what we should have been focusing on over the past 6 to 8 months. And that, of course, was one of the most horrific experiences that I have ever, I did not witness it, but as you know, you didn't have to witness it to know how bad that experience was. And I think it threw our community off center from concentrating on a stadium and the franchise and the things that go along with it. And most recently, you've had elected officials, some of our elected officials, stating a comparison between Nashville and the deal done here in Western New York. And I hate to say it, there is no comparison, because the residual economic benefits that will be obtained from having a downtown stadium in Nashville is of no comparison to a stadium that's going to be built in the middle of nowhere, where there will be no residual economic benefits for the area outside of what status quo benefits that you have now. Yes. You're not going to get a Super Bowl. It's not a multi-use facility, so you're not going to get other events like the Frozen Four, the Final Four, boxing events. Nashville is going to receive all of those. So for an elected official to say that we have a better deal than Nashville is really playing political games and not being very realistic.
And on top of it, Mighty Oba, from 1964, when the Buffalo Bills basically started from roughly 64 to 72, the Bills played at the Rock Pile on Jefferson Avenue, and it was in the heart of the community at the time, and there was always a lot of activity. People parked their cars. Black people made money. They benefited from it. They sold sandwiches. They even had to speakeasies selling liquor and everything. I remember my dad and them worked at a speakeasy down the street where they, boom, got the liquor to the people. People took it on into the stadium and went to the games and the whole 9 yards. out in Orchard Park, why would you want to still go out somewhere where you got to build up an area where you already have downtown? If you put the stadium downtown like everybody else is doing, you have it in the downtown area, it would benefit the businesses. You have a lot of new black restaurants, new Asian. You got a whole bunch of the melting pot, basically, in downtown Buffalo. It's not like when we were growing up, how downtown used to look. Now it's looking more like the community of the people that live there. And why would you not, the mayor and all the other politicians, all you have to do is just do a little homework and look at the other cities and say, hey, we need ours downtown too. So we all, the city of Buffalo, as well as the county, would benefit. Having the stadium out in Orchard Park doesn't benefit nobody but the Pagulas out there. Pagulas will make all the money, and the city of Buffalo will still be begging and scratching, trying to find money to service the needs of the people, like building a new supermarkets, more than one supermarket in the black community that's serving 10,000 people. That's crazy. In 2022, you got one supermarket to serve 10,000 people. Come on.
Right. This is going to go down as one of the worst mistakes in Western New York history. And it only serves the Pagulas. It does not serve Western New York. It's a status quo deal that will not bring any new benefits to Western New York. It's a big time mistake, and they know it. I mean, and there's enough blame to go around on why that stadium is not situated in downtown Buffalo. I mean, you cannot name one person in particular, but the whole power base of Western New York, including I think he was the former Lieutenant Governor Duffy
Yes.
from Rochester. He refused to meet with the independent group on 2 or 3 different occasions after the governor allegedly asked him to do that. He never did. I don't know what the politics was behind that. But there's enough blame to go around that you did not prepare to put a multi-use facility in downtown Buffalo that would have created year-round revenue rather than put a single-use stadium in Orchard Park, some of the worst traffic in the NFL, without no development there. It'll be a single-use facility used 10 to 15 times a year. Now, the big thing that's going to hit them soon, Radman and Fanatic, is when they try to raise the money from the seat licenses. They're going to put a quota on the seat licenses saying that you're going to have to sell a certain amount of seat licenses to release the money to begin construction. That's coming soon. And I believe that's going to happen in the next few months, where they're going to start pressuring people to put up upfront money to build a single-use stadium that only helps to keep the team here for another 30 years with residual economic benefits only for one group of people. It's basically modern-day segregated economics.
Oh, wow. There you have it. You have it. Because let's look at an example. Atlanta, Georgia. You yourself have a business, ATL, Philly cheesesteak. You have a food truck that you have. And how long did it take you to get to become a vendor outside the Atlanta Falcons Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta, Georgia?
Almost instantaneous, because you have private lots right near the stadium, and basically you just rent the time from those lots, and we're doing quite well. We've worked the homecoming games for Morehouse, Clark Atlanta. I was just awarded a contract with Georgia Tech University on just yesterday. Really, the contract was finalized. But the opportunities for economic benefits from participating in a downtown metropolitan area are unlimited. Whereas here, it's segregated economics 101. Your restaurants that are out in Orchard Park are owned by Europeans. And then there are no other opportunities out there. And it's almost backwards thinking.
Yeah.
That this organization put forth a plan that only benefits one group of people. And unfortunately, you only have April Baskin pushing for a CBA agreement. And this is her first time doing it. And it's the first time a CBA agreement has even been requested here. You basically built a stadium in 73. You renovated it again in 98. You renovated it again in 2012. Now you're building a new facility, and they're all single-use facilities in a community that is close to 93% white population. And it only benefits their businesses, their population base, and that seems to be what the modus operandi is of Western New York. They have not woken up to the fact that we live in a diverse, homogenous society that all should benefit because all of us are contributing to the public outlay of this huge project, which is going to cost you over $1 billion.
If you're spending $1 billion, why in the hell would you put something out in the middle of nowhere that's benefiting only one group of people, white folks? You have what, 1%, 2%? I saw your statistics in the art. There's like 1% or 2% black people in Orchard Park,
right?
Something like that. And you have politicians sitting around where the money could be spread out much more evenly to the overall. If you build the stadium downtown, vendors. I've never seen a black vendor out in Orchard Park in all the years we've been covering the Bills. I've never seen one black vendor. I've had a black guy take my ticket every game now. Scan my ticket now, or to go into the media parking area and think. I see black folks on the outside, but you don't see, like we saw in Tampa or like we saw in Kansas City a few weeks ago, black folks inside the building wearing shirts and ties in positions of authority inside the stadium. Baltimore. Man, there was so many black folks there. It was just, a gathering place. But black folks were in charge at M&T Bank Stadium. M&T Bank, they're based in Buffalo, but they get their name on the stadium down in Baltimore, Maryland. So it's just ridiculous that we here in Western New York, and that it's almost like white folks are saying to blacks and brown people in the area, this is how it is. This is how we do. And nobody's arguing the fight. Say, hey, wait a minute, what about money for everybody? Not just white folks should be getting paid off a new stadium or benefiting from the luxury of having a new stadium. Why would you build it in the middle of nowhere where you got to build up that whole area if you're going to, it's not even that many restaurants out there, Marioba.
Right. I don't hear the demand outside of our circle. There is no demand for equal benefit from this deal.
And why is that, Oba? Sorry, I just want to jump in. Why is that? Is it because our hands are the same?
Well, I do understand the power of the NFL and their technique of silencing elected officials, their political contributions. If you follow the money trail, they are very wide in who they have contributed to politically. And it basically, you don't bite the hand it feeds you. It's the law of nature. Yeah. But that doesn't say it's right. And unfortunately, I've been beating this drum for the last 23 years.
Yeah.
And we were close to it in 2012, where we had HKS come in. We had Strong Museum from Rochester on board that was going to add a unique part of a year-round revenue multi-use complex that I thought was the best plan that I've seen literally in the country. And it was ready to go with private money. Did not ask for $1 billion of anybody's money. They're asking you for money for the building of the stadium, but they have not disclosed how much the infrastructure contribution that you're going to make also, which comes from public money. So there's a lot more to this than you think, but also the residual economic benefits that come from this will not benefit your community once again. It will not benefit the Latino community. It won't benefit the Asian community. It is certainly, once again, leaves out the African community here in Western New York. And there are several aspects of a CBA agreement that I think will be overlooked also, because it just doesn't seem like we're focusing on the residual economic benefits that come from an NFL franchise properly.
Absolutely, exactly. Go ahead, Fanatic.
Yeah, hey, but just for those, I know we got a bunch of new listeners from what happened in 2012. Can you pull us behind the curtain? Why did the deal fold when everything sounded like it was really locked in, ready to go for the new stadium downtown?
Well, former Governor Cuomo had appointed a lot of political contributors that had private interests that helped to destroy that deal. That deal was ready to go. It was for a waterfront stadium in downtown Buffalo. It was going to be connected to the rapid rail system. The rapid rail system is only 3/4 of a mile from the site, so they would only have to extend it by 3/4 of a mile. We were going to invite the University of New York at Buffalo to play their home games there also, which would have given you 5 to 6 more additional football dates. And this deal was ready. It was going to be done with private money. All you needed was infrastructure. But they lined up to defeat a private deal with such vigor. And they badmouthed the deal, saying it was not environmental friendly, which is an absolute lie. Because let me tell you something, the water quality of Lake Erie and the Buffalo River has only recently made improvements because of the efforts of Congressman Brian Higgins to clean up the river. And this was an environmental friendly type of stadium with multi-use. It had recyclable water that would be coming from, when rain and snow would melt, the water would be recycled and make sure it was not putting impurities into the water system. So there was a lot more modern advantages to the private deal, but the private deal infuriated those that make their living off of public money, and they lined up and destroyed the deal, and we never got that opportunity. All you needed was the land. Everything else was in place. Once you got the land, you move forward, but we never were given permission of development for the land, and now that land is sitting there. They're having rap concerts down there and events, but first they said they didn't want anything down there. They just wanted it to be a park.
Right.
They're having they've had multiple rap concerts down there with people parked everywhere. They have not developed the site the way it should be. And it's unfortunate. It's going to go down as one of the biggest mistakes in Western New York history.
All right, Mayoba, thank you very much for coming on this morning. Once again, how can people follow you and keep up on not only this issue, but other fine issues that you're talking about?
Right. I'm in semi-retirement now, so I'm doing interviews. I recently have an interview up with former NBA great Craig Hodges, which is up on platforms now. And I'm doing interviews and writing my column for the Buffalo Criterion newspaper. We do that every week for the last 28 years, but no more early morning rising for the mighty Oba. He likes to sleep in.
All right. That's why the show is called Night Talk. Night Talk with the Mighty Oba. Check him out on all those social media platforms. And Mighty Oba, Pat Freeman, we look forward to having you back on Real Deal Sports Show again, and continue to keep us abreast of what's going on with it. Because it sounds like it's not over with this stadium issue. There's a lot of hurdles they're going to have to jump and make in a time-sensitive time frame to make this really happen.
Right. Those seat licenses, keep your eye out when they start pushing for those seat licenses and a quota. I think they're going to put a quota on what they're going to have to sell to make that happen. And that's coming soon.
Great. Wow. Thank you very much, Mighty Oba. Have a great weekend.
All right.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, everyone listening. Hey, talk to your politician. Ask them about why they're not getting involved in the stadium, or asking questions about it. Where the money flowing? The money not flowing back into the community. We're not benefiting. It doesn't make sense. Hey, if we're not benefiting from it, We need to ask questions and find out why. Why was the Mighty Oba able to go down to Atlanta, buy him a food truck, ATL Philly cheesesteak, put in his applications, get past all the guidelines there in Atlanta, Georgia, and now his truck is outside the Atlanta Falcons football games at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome Stadium there in Atlanta, Georgia, and at other events throughout the area. Do we see black food truck owners here in Rochester, New York? Where are they? I don't see them in downtown Rochester. Where's our food company trucks? Where's our businesses benefiting from the overall community of Rochester, New York, and the people of Buffalo? It seems like Western New York Fanatic is way behind the times, Fanatic.
It is. And I'm glad, man, because again, we can talk about how great the Bills are, but this is why you come to the Real Deal Sports Show. When we talk about sports of all sorts, we're talking about everything. We're talking about economic empowerment. You don't see that on many, if any, shows. That's why we come here to hear the Mighty Oba and really the Rad Man leading this. So great conversation. I love that. Yeah, it's way behind the times, and now it's time to move on and bring in one of our favorite guests, a regular here, the one and only, my man, not Jay Grills, Rad Man, Jay Gills. You've been on a good streak lately. Director at 105.5 FM The Beat. You can always check him, zilltalkupstate@gmail.com, or on IG, Instagram, for those who don't know what IG is, but Instagram, Zill Talk Upstate. He always has some great, unique questions being asked during his interview. What's happening, Jay Gills? What's going on, my brother?
Fanatic Rap Man, what's going on, fellas? Good morning, Rochester. What a beautiful, beautiful day it is. You know, college, high school football yesterday was impactful. I know y'all probably gonna get into that. And then, you know, we got a huge game with Tennessee going against Georgia. 1 versus 3. It's going down.
Yes, and then you got LSU with a big one hosting the Alabama Crimson Tide. That should be a good one down there in Baton Rouge tonight. You're right. There's a lot of, and then you got Game 6 of the World Series. Houston Astros hosting the Philadelphia Phillies. Man, the Astros pitching. Hey, they may not have black African Americans, but they damn sure got some black Cubans, Latinos, Venezuelans, and they getting it done there. I haven't seen a team roll out that many pitchers in some time. I mean, they just keep coming, man. Neres, Montero, Abreu. Then this cat Abreu come out with the blonde hair. He come throwing fire. Man, all these guys throwing 100 miles an hour. I'm like, damn, where they get all these cats from, man? They just come out like it's nothing and get up there on the mountain and just start throwing fire, man.
Yeah, hey, Rabbit, you talking about being behind antiquated times. As me being a Yankee fan, I'm looking like, wow, how the Astros every year, whether they're cheating or not, they always have a great roster, great farm system. And Yankees, what are we doing? Brian Cashman, you've been in here for 3 years. Oh, now, man. Come on, behind the times. Come on.
And Jay Grills, we know he's brought on the show by Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. Check out my girl Miriam Rivera. Hey, if she's good enough for me and saving me and my family money for many years, she can save you and your family some money as well on auto, home, health, and life insurance. She's at 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Call her. Give her a call, 360-0094. The leaves are coming. Next you know, snow, wet, slippery, ice, all of that. Get protected. Get your home protected. Get your auto protected. And if you got young ones in college driving a hoopty or whatever car you get them now, get them insured and make sure they're insured. And I guarantee you, the friend of the show and our longtime sponsor, Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, check her out. 511 Bean Road, Suite B, or 1038 Lyle Avenue. 360-0094, area code 585. She hooked me up with some Progressive Insurance, and she's saving me a hell of a lot of money. So I know she can save you and your family some money as well. Jay Gills, what's going on with the Miami Dolphins?
Oh, my God. What a trade deadline. What's not going on with the Miami Dolphins? For those of you who have not seen, the Dolphins were able to scoop up elite premier young pass rusher from Denver Broncos, who's the 6th overall pick in 2018, Mr. Bradley Chubb. You know, him pairing alongside Jalen Phillips is going to make for a much more impactful Dolphins defense. See, the one thing about the Dolphins defense is they were always a bend but don't break. The Dolphins were never going to stop the run. They weren't going to be top 5 in stopping the run or stop the pass. They're not going to shut down anybody. It's not the Legion of Boom. But what the Dolphins do is they make explosive defensive plays. They lead the league in turnovers since 2019. And that is where we kind of lost ourselves with. You know, a lot of guys hurt right now, Byron Jones and a lot of guys not producing, guys like Emmanuel Agba. So adding a guy who's right now, I believe, third in quarterback pressures, right under Myles Garrett and Michael Parsons from the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He's
Judon's
third right now. So adding him just to be able to rush with 4, the Dolphins are right now, we're leading the league in blitzing. We cannot get there with 4, so we have to blitz every play just to get pressure. So allowing those guys, our guys like Jerome Baker, to drop back in coverage and just having more overall versatility with the defense is going to make this very impactful. I'm excited, and that's not to mention on the offensive side of the ball, when Mike McDaniel, who I think is doing a very good job, when he got hired, it was because his running abilities. Right now, the Dolphins are the bottom 5 in the league in rushing yards, which is not the most characteristic of Mike McDaniel. So he goes and gets his old buddy from San Francisco, Jeff Wilson, who is a hard runner, a tough runner, and who already knows the system. That 1-2 punch with Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert is going to be lethal. Watch out for the play action. Tyreek Hill's already got 961 yards, but my God, the second half of the season, he's going to go crazy.
Wow, he has 960. Wow, he's almost at 1,000 already. Wow, that does bode well for the Dolphins. And they signed an extension with Bradley Chubb as well. So the Dolphins mean business. They do have money to burn right now too, and with all those draft picks they acquired, and the general manager is using them very wisely, and he's putting together a very good team. And McDaniels is doing a decent job. He got to, like you said, improve the running game. But let's see what else he can do, what he learned from Shanahan and bringing his own touch to it, coming from the San Francisco 49ers. He looked like he's getting the Dolphins geared up for the second half of the season. When you see them tomorrow against the Bears, how do you see the outcome in that one?
I'm excited that we get to see a young and emerging quarterback like my boy Justin Fields over in Chicago, a dual threat quarterback. The Bears are leading the league in rushing right now, in rushing yards per game. I think they're over 140 yards a game in rushing. So running the ball is not a problem for them. Stopping the run has been a problem for the Dolphins. But can they make those impact plays that I talked about earlier in this conversation? When I look at them playing a mobile quarterback like Justin Fields, can they contain him? Can they limit his ground game, even with a guy like Chase Claypool, who the Bears have acquired? Are they going to be able to stop that play action pass that this Chicago offense has been able to do? And I think that this is a great measuring stick in the Windy City of Chicago. We're on the road for this one, and I think that the Miami Dolphins will pull this one out in a convincing manner. I'm excited to see the guys, though.
Hey, I will say, Jay Gills, man, I watched the entire game, man. Hey, something about the Detroit Lions, I like watching them, especially on offense. So I watched the whole game last week. Yo, Tyreek Hill, and I'm a Jamar Chase guy. I'm a Justin Jefferson guy. I wonder why that is. But Cooper Kupp as in best receivers. But, man, Tyreek Hill, he really might be that guy. Because, man, that dude is open on every play. You can jet sweep. You can hit him on a little drag route, 2-yard drag route. And you can tell all the NFL players are fast, but he's faster than everybody. And if Tua had a cannon for an arm, Tyreek, he has 900, almost 1,000 yards. He could easily have 1,200 yards because Tua was trying to load back and give it all he had to throw it left-handed down the field, and he was still coming. Tyreek had to come back and get the ball, and he threw a couple 2-yard, shorter than where Tyreek was. So Tyreek Hill, that offense is explosive, and it should be a good game tomorrow seeing Fields versus Tua. And this is the perfect place to say what happens when you have weapons. Justin Fields, get him some weapons. Let's see what he can really do.
Absolutely. And you take a look at, I see we have someone saying that Chubb is always in the shop. He's broken up. How do you respond to that, Jay Gills?
Yes, most definitely. I mean, Bradley Chubb, he has gotten hurt. I think he got hurt in his second season. In his 4 or 5 seasons he's played, he's only completed about 2 or 3 of them. But I think that he's not going to be asked to do well. I'll say this: I think that you're only as good as your last couple games, and he's been healthy those last games. He's been healthy this whole season, and he's still 26 years old. So he has a lot more left in the tank than he already had played. So I'm not really concerned about health. I don't think the Dolphins are either about inking him to that 5-year, $119 million contract.
And last but not least, when the weather gets cold, the leaves are on the ground. Hey, the weather can only get worse on the East Coast. So you're going to see a lot of rain, sleet, high winds. How do you think Tua can adjust under these climates as we get into especially November through January time period?
Well, like I said, being able to acquire a guy like Jeff Wilson so the Dolphins can actually lean on that ground game a lot more as the season continues, as the weather continues, was very, very important. And when we look at Tua, Fanatic talked about it. He doesn't have that cannon for an arm. I know he left a couple of big touchdown plays to Tyreek, who beat the defense many times over the season. But Tua is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. His short passing game is very equivalent to a running game. And I think that him being able to get the ball out at the exceptional rate that he's been able to, and having weapons like whether it's Mike Gesicki, whether it's Jalen Waddle, whether it's Tyreek Hill, he's going to get them the ball in the time that he needs to get it done. I don't think that that's going to play any other factor when you talk about weather. I think that he's going to be fine. And as the season continues, you guys will see that too.
All right.
I like it.
Fanatic, anything else in closing with Jay Gills?
You know, Jay Gills, and just real quick, I see you with the Brooklyn Nets hat on. You always rocking it. It's got to be real quick because I know we got our next guest coming. Just your thoughts, Kyrie Irving situation, Brooklyn Nets. How do you move forward?
Well, you know, it's
your voice changed, man.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys want to touch on that on this Sunday, but since you asked me, I will just say this. I mean, it's in the league's hands. I know Kyrie's going to be meeting with Adam Silver moving forward. I'm not sure if Kyrie should stay with the Brooklyn Nets. I'll leave it right there. I'm not sure if that's the right decision for the franchise. We can get into a whole other topic of the Brooklyn Nets and their decisions to hire Ime Udoka, potentially their decisions to allow Kevin Durant after a trade mistake, or after wanting to be traded, come back to the organization, Steve Nash being fired. You guys know him, Rick Toney. Shout out to Rick Toney, another personality here in Rochester. He's been calling the Brooklyn Nets a circus since last season, and I have to give him all his props and credits because he's been absolutely right. I had high faith and hope in the Brooklyn Nets, but they're disappointing me ever so greatly as the season wanes.
All right. Once again, thank you for coming on. That's the sports director here at WLGZ HD2 The Beat. Jay Gills, thank you for coming on, getting the time on. Real Deal Sports Show. Follow him Instagram at Zeal Talk Upstate, as well as Zeal Talk Upstate at gmail.com. Check this young man out. He's up and coming, doing his thing, and probably be your first trip out to Tempe, Arizona, out there for hopefully your first Super Bowl coming up in February. Jay Gills.
Hey.
Very excited. That's why, hey, for all my people listening out there, if you want to do something, mentorship is so important. Shout out to the Rad Man, being a mentor for all us young black up and coming people. He's always on the up and up, looking out for the young ones, man. So get you a mentor, find your mentor, love on them, and appreciate them, man. Most definitely. If you want to get somewhere, do that. Do that for me. All right.
All right. You take care, and we catch you next week on the Real Deal Sports Show. You take care.
Yes, sir. See you, fellas.
All right. See you, Jay Gills.
All right. Now we go ahead, take you south to Charlotte, North Carolina as our next guest. Yes, this is Real Deal Sports Show, talking sports of all sorts. We span the globe to get you the best of sports knowledge and get the word. We're in Buffalo. We're all over the place. Now we're in Charlotte, North Carolina. Who's our next guest, Fanatic?
What's going on? Yeah, this is the one and only. We call him the Big O, coming in live from Charlotte, North Carolina. It's time for us officially to go to the NBA segment. It's been the hottest topic. Been hearing all sorts of folks, people don't even watch sports, asking about the Kyrie Irving and Brooklyn Nets situation. So we had to go find the best of the best. We had a nice little intro with Jay Gills. Now it's time to go to the one and only Big O and jump into the NBA segment, in particular talking about the Brooklyn Nets. How you feeling this morning, Big O?
Oh, I'm feeling good. Thank you guys for having me. Great show so far. Certainly enjoyed the first segment with the Mighty Oba and then Jay Gills. So the show is flowing. I'm wearing my Brooklyn Nets hoodie. I may have to put a paper bag over my head the way they've been acting the last few weeks. So it's been a rough go of it with us. Circus is a perfect word for what's going on in Brooklyn right now.
Yes, indeed. A lot of trouble going on there. And we know your segment is brought to you by Challenger Community News, largest weekly African-American newspaper in all of Western New York, thechallengernews.com. Check out the website. Check out the various locations throughout all of Western New York, and especially Rochester, New York. Check them out at Calvin's Magic Wings, City Hall, County Office buildings, the places you can pick it up, Corner Store, Genesee, Magnolia, Sam Jamaican Soul Restaurant. You can pick the Challenger up there. There's so many places you can pick the paper up. or if you're not picking it up in person, at your church or Pinnacle Apartment Building or Mount Hope Apartments or at any African American church in the community, thechallengernews.com. Check out the latest articles. Check out Khadijah, that young lady that from 43 Buffalo North. She won that $1 million grant to start her business. Check her out in Challenger Community News. Now let's get back to Big O.
Yeah, Big O. So let's jump into it, man. What's going on at the Brooklyn Nets Insider? What's going on, Kyrie Irving? And I'm just going to let the floor be yours. Lay it out there. Take us where you know, pull us behind the curtain about what's going on. What's Brooklyn going to do moving forward? And what is the latest with Kyrie Irving?
So the latest is he's been suspended at least 5 games. I love how they put at least 5 games for the suspension, which means it could be longer. The whole situation is it's really strange. He made a choice. I think everybody gets to make a choice. He made a choice to post a video with anti-Semitic thoughts about the Jewish community, then refused to apologize, said he took responsibility for posting a link to the movie or documentary, but then said he doesn't believe everything in the documentary, which I understand. And I think one of the major points in the documentary was that the Holocaust wasn't real or was a hoax of some sort. And you certainly just can't do that. I mean, the facts are there. It was a terrible tragedy and a horrible time just in the world. And to make light of a situation like that or pretend it didn't happen is, causes a lot of harm. And that's where this is stemming from. But I mean, it's just been issues upon issues with Kyrie Irving. The reality is he's a very talented basketball player and not a great thinker. Let's just be honest. Who thinks he's a great thinker?
Well, is this guy a lazy cat, or what is his thing? Every year he takes time off from the game. He finds a way every season to take time away from the game. He's very well paid, got a big contract. But how does this guy every season find a way to get out of playing basketball? That's my thing. This guy, every year, he finds a way not to play 40, 50. And this guy, 40, 50 game. I'm like, damn, man, come on, man. You got a contract for that $200 million or whatever crazy number you getting paid, and you're going to find time. To me, him and Ben Simmons are a lot more closer to me that alike than not, because both of them enjoy the benefits of playing basketball, but they don't love basketball, and they can take it or leave it of actually playing the game of basketball. But Big O, what do you think about that one?
Well, I'm not going to use the word lazy, because if you look at his basketball skills, he certainly puts time in the gym, very talented, has the ball on the string, one of the greatest finishers under probably 6'3" ever in the league. So you don't get that by being lazy. And just talented. You have to work on that, and he clearly works on his game. The first thing about him missing games, he's fragile. He gets hurt pretty regularly, so that's the first excuse on why he misses a ton of games. He usually has some sort of injury. Last year was obviously self-inflicted with the COVID-19 situation going on and his refusal to play or get vaccinated. Said he was standing with the community. So Kyrie Irving, I don't want to say put lazy on him, because his skills are there, but I just don't think he loves the game as he has other interests that aren't aligned with basketball.
And obviously, isn't he the same guy? But correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't he the same guy that said the world is flat or something? Because he read something online. Man, this guy's a clown, man. Come on, man. This is first-class clown, man. Man, he's clowning himself. Man, the people he reading all this garbage online and saying it in front of everybody. Man, come on, man. Keep those stupid thoughts to yourself, man. Come on.
I really think Coach K and Duke University needs to get in touch, because that's a stamp on their education system. I know he went there for a year. The earth is flat is ridiculous. I mean, there's photos out there. What would be the point of faking that? Who makes monetary value of all the images of the earth being round and then saying it's flat? Makes no sense to me. But that is perfectly aligned with who he is.
I was just going to say
out there in his thoughts.
I was just going to say.
In his actions, and that's who he is.
He seems to be a conspiracy theory guy. He well, is the sky really blue? Is the earth really round? Is the Holocaust really real? He was even talking about that sick Alex Jones, and Alex Jones is now having to pay back money for Sandy Hook, because that guy kept saying Sandy Hook was a hoax. And Kyrie, he just seems to be able to see low-grade information. And what he doesn't seem to understand, to me, is you can say things, but he has his platform because of basketball. And he's got to be smarter. If he wants to lead, fine. He has got to be able to be more responsible with the information he's putting out. And he's always so combative. It is so wild to me to hear him speak. He always seems like everybody else is dumb and he's so much above us. But if you're gonna be a leader, you got to bring the education to the people. But he just seems to be a conspiracy theory guy. And I just and I know I've heard some of this where like people think the Jews are originally black, and I think that's what he seems to be on his path to try and find his blackness and his black history. And we know they try to erase our history all across the world, but he's just got to be more responsible with these conspiracy theories. I mean, I would talk to them maybe with his friends or Michael Eric Dyson or shoot a big old rap man talk about black history. I know you guys know it, but you can't be just putting things out there and then not have an explanation to it, just putting a link to it and then just letting it go and just letting the internet take hold of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he did try to defend his actions as far as stating, especially on the Alex Jones one. I heard that said he doesn't believe in anything Alex Jones and being July Sandy Hook, but that's not who you want to be quoting. Or what he said, and which is what I really take issue with, is he said he was not promoting the movie. He just posted it for people to have thoughts on, or he just posted a quote from Alex Jones for people to have thoughts on. He's not promoting what they really mean. And I think he doesn't understand the platform that he has in being an NBA player. He said he's just a human being. So what he says, you should treat him like all other human people. Post crazy things all the time. Everybody's not Kyrie Irving. Everybody doesn't make $30 million a year in a $1 billion industry. He is in his last year off of a huge contract, looking to get another one. But I think that was my biggest problem with Kyrie, is him stating that he's every other human being, and he is not. If you're going to be famous, and I'm going to bring a number of different people into this, is just you can't say, hey, I'm famous, I'm going to use this platform to make millions of dollars, but don't treat me like I'm famous, treat me like everybody else. Can't have it both ways. If you want to do that, go play at the YMCA on Saturdays and enjoy basketball there. Can't not have it both ways.
Will he be playing at the YMCA next year? Will he
no.
Or will he be in the NBA? Will he still be in the NBA next year?
He will. Too talented.
Well, will the Nets keep him? Do you think they'll trade him at the trade deadline or get rid of him at the end of the season?
Can't trade him because you have nobody to trade him to. Everybody knows he's on the last year of his contract. They're not going to give the Nets what they're looking for, a la first-round picks, because we don't have any, because we traded them for James Harden. I think people don't understand the situation the Nets are in. Everybody says just waive Kyrie Irving. Let him go. He's more trouble than he's worth. Trade him for anything. We don't have any picks. A trade benefits the Nets none. They said the only person that they can really trade for is the Lakers, who they're trying to get rid of Russell Westbrook. And you can't put Russell Westbrook back with Kevin Durant. You cannot do that. Kevin Durant will not have you trade for Russell Westbrook, who he was running to get away from the first time. So there's no way that you can trade Kyrie Irving at this moment and get any value for him. So they're going to play out the season. They're going to. I think this will continue to drag on. I think Kyrie will continue to say wild things. He did put out an apology yesterday, I believe, on his Instagram, where he spoke on this issue.
After he was
a little late. Late. I don't understand it. He stood on it. He stood on it. He got suspended. He said he was sorry. Where was what he could have said sorry 3-4 days ago?
Come on.
I think people would have understood what he said. But the fact that he was so defiant makes the apology feel watered down and not believable after you were defiant after 3 or 4 days of not apologizing. You get suspended and then you apologize. The man is backwards. I really want to speak to his father. I want his dad. I see him all the time at the game. I want to talk to Mr. Irving and really understand what's going on in his son's mind, because he needs some help.
Because I don't know what books he was studying there at Duke, but maybe it looked like he needed a little bit more time at Duke in the library there at Duke University back in the day, because it sounds like he's interesting. Anything else? Any other NBA news, Big O?
Ben Simmons looks like a shell of himself. Charlotte Hornets are going to be entertaining as long as LaMelo can stay healthy. There was a tidbit about Miles Bridges going into a deal where he'll avoid jail time for his actions in a domestic violence situation. So that's going to be something to watch out for, to see what the league does if he does get signed by a team. The Charlotte Hornets are going to be entertaining. I'll quickly say I love what the Panthers are doing as well, even though they had a horrific loss. PJ Walker looks fluid. Steve Wilkes, the coach out there, seems to have everyone at least playing hard. In the first few games, it didn't look like there was a lot of effort. He came, he shipped Robbie Anderson, sat Baker Mayfield. I know he was injured, but it looks like he's going to sit now. And I really think that that's just showing in the locker room who they are as a team and what Matt Rule was missing. So a lot of interest there. But I'll definitely say Ben Simmons, he would be the number one target for me. If I'm Brooklyn, I'm looking to ship him to anybody who would take him. Anybody who would take him for anything decent.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I know we get ready to wrap it. Big O, did you say you would rather trade Ben Simmons first than Kyrie Irving?
You can't get anything for Kyrie Irving. Ben Simmons is still in a long-term contract.
Wow.
No,
he has 4 years on his deal. You can't get anything.
Addition by subtraction. Yo, Kyrie and KD look fractured.
Well, there we have it.
What are you going to get for him?
Julian,
know something.
It's better to not have them sometimes. It's better to not have wild people.
Well, gentlemen, we're going to have to see Big O. Thank you for coming on Real Deal Sports Show. We look forward to having you back with other updates. I like what you said about Steve Wilkes as well, interim head coach of the Carolina Panthers. He's making them play a hell of a lot better on the field. We'll see you again next week. We're here, the Music Fanatic. While we hear the music, let's wrap up quickly. High school football, McQuaid pulled the upset last night. And UPrep, where was Michael Irvin last night? Where was that? Where was Willis McGahee? UPrep, you get shut out on your home field 6-0 to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
To Pittsburgh 6-0. Oh my gosh! I wish I would have been there. I wasn't able to make it down there to see it. Sorry to see, but congratulations, Pittsburgh and McQuaid. You play for the championship next week. East High School, you're still in it. Congratulations, East High School. Your coach, the Big O's coach, Diaz's son, made a beautiful touchdown catch for East High School in that game last night. East High School is on a roll. They into the championship game in their division next week. East, for the city schools, you keep it going. But UPrep, hey, I'm vastly disappointed in the outcome. But if you want to win some money, Houston Astros, take them tonight. I hope you've been taking them all along. I have. They won 105 games. I've been taking them almost every other game throughout the entire season. So you tell me what my pocket looking like right now. Hey, we keeping it rolling. Let's get NFL action real quick. Quick game for you, Fanatic.
Yeah, well, hey, I just want to make sure. Shout out to Free Brittany Griner. Talking NFL, I want to shout out and say happy belated birthday to Colin Kaepernick. Go ahead. Last thing on my end, going out to go vote. Election day is 11/8. It's not all about the presidential election. Go vote. Handle that on Tuesday. I love the NBA, WNBA for playing no games this coming Tuesday, so people can use the arena to go out and vote. So love that. My big pick of the week is the Washington Commanders. They keep on playing well, and then New England, Indianapolis under. Look for both of those to come in today.
And take the points with the Indianapolis Colts against New England and make you some money as well. Go to Winner's Edge, RealDealSportsShow.com. Backspin.
Yes, sir.
We got you back. Are you Cowboys? I know you with them again this week. Are they on a bye or what?
Yeah, we on a bye this week, so I don't have nobody. My phone has stayed dry. You know what I'm saying? As it has been, because nobody calls me when we win. You know what I mean? So my phone is dry as the desert right now. You know what I mean? So it'll continue to stay dry this weekend because my Cowboys are on a bye. We get to relax, rest up, and get back to it come week 10.
Absolutely. Week 10. UPrep, I'm shocked that they were shut out at home last night, Baxman.
Hey, man, any given Saturday, right? Or any given Friday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to the best of us. Shout out to UPrep. They had a great season, but, they came up short last night.
Yes, all good things must come to an end, I guess. And catch us next week on Real Deal Sports Show, talking sports of all sorts, RealDealSportsShow.com. Go to the website or the Facebook page, like us to give you your opinion. We'll catch you next week.
There it is, Real Deal Sports, every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on the Beat 105.5. Keep it locked right where you got it. Coming up, it's the Back in Time Mix Show.